6 months, 6 months, 6 months, 6 months, 6 months, 6 months. Y'all, I got another video for y'all. This is talking about Kellie Harper getting fired from the head coaching position at UT. Let's get into it. So I just said it. Kellie Harper Kellie Harper gets fired as UT women's coach. And to me, I have to ask UT, what's the plan? Just two main questions I have to ask UT is what's the plan and what do they expect? I asked what's the plan because, okay, you're moving on from Kellie Harper. She knows the game. She's alumni. Kellie Harper, in her own right as a player, knew what she was doing. And as a coach, really wasn't that bad. So who are we moving on to next? And then you have to remember that, if I'm not mistaken, this year was Rakia Jackson's COVID year, and she was the star of that team. That was her team. Don't get me wrong, they have other pieces. The other big is great, and they have guards who can knock down shots, like I believe her name's Tess Darby, and other guards too. So they can, they have pieces, but who's that one player who just is just dominant and we run our offense through them and get them the ball every time? Now, I'm not sure how the women have been recruiting, so who's to say that they don't have a freshman who, who's to say? I don't know. But for right now, I'm not hearing any talks about any big moves in the transfer portal going to UT and your star players going to the WNBA draft. So what's the plan? And you fire a coach who knows the game and, like I said, was a great player in her own right. So what's the plan? And then my follow-up question to that is, what did you expect? Not in terms of her getting fired. I mean, in terms of the outcome of these UT seasons, because the SEC is the hardest conference in women's basketball. And that goes without saying, because you have a team in South Carolina who's literally been undefeated, or if it weren't for Caitlin Clark beating them last year in the Final Four, then they would be undefeated for the past 2 years. So what are we talking about? You know what I'm saying? Like, they were never going to beat South Carolina. LSU is in that conference as well. And LSU, don't get me wrong, this year they had a down year, and I don't know where that came from. I think it's just, they have the pieces and they have the personnel to, do it this year. But they had a couple losses this season, and then, they just lost to Iowa a couple days ago. But, they have pieces. It's just, I feel like the defensive game plan is what messed them up. And, but they're in a conference with LSU, and that's a tough team. So it's like, you know what I'm saying? LSU, national champions last year. So it's like, they were never going to beat South Carolina. They were never going to beat LSU. You know what I'm saying? Like these are just things that were just never going to happen. They were never in the cards. It was never going to happen. So I'm just confused on, like, what did you expect? But the crazier thing is to fire her this year too, after she came close to showing you that we can do it, because UT literally in that SEC championship, they took UT took South Carolina down to the wire. It literally came down to a Camila Cardoza game-winning three-pointer, which was her first one of her fucking career, which, hey, in retrospect, or not even in retrospect, in the moment that she wasn't being guarded, when I looked at this shit and they wasn't going to guard her, I was like, that's still a stupid idea. You know what I'm saying? And I understand, like, Kellie Harper's probably thinking to herself, like, right now, in retrospect, that was stupid. But still, I mean, they were right there with South Carolina. They showed you that they could beat them. And they played themselves a great game. So it's like, what do you know what I'm saying? What do you expect? Kellie Harper did all she could with the team that she has, but she's in the toughest conference in her game. And, it is what it is. She's, like I said, she's stuck there with South Carolina, but, you know what I mean? So I don't know. I don't understand. But I mean, who knows what's next for UT? I mean, so it's just interesting to me. Like I said, down to the wire with South Carolina. Fucking Iowa showed you how to beat LSU, which is just run the floor for some reason. Man, off an inbound pass, LSU is not prepared. They're not ready to get back. So many layups and points just came off the inbound where Caitlin Clark would just throw it up to whoever was down there because LSU doesn't get back. They showed you how to beat LSU. They showed you the keys. Make sure that we run because sometimes they don't get back. Pick and roll. Have a guard who can knock down a perimeter jump shot in the pick and roll because their pick and roll defense is god awful. And make them finish through contact. They showed you what it was. And you knew before that. So it's like if they were there with South Carolina, and I believe that, you know, if you could be there with South Carolina, there's no way that you couldn't be there with LSU. So I don't understand it. I don't know what's next for Kellie Harper, if she plans on getting another job in the game or whatnot, or if she just decides, fuck it, who knows. But I kind of don't understand. But people are like, it's about time. It's about time. It's like, okay, I don't think anyone could coach, to win against, in the SEC who's not playing on South Carolina or LSU. That just being that, you know what I'm saying? So I'm not going to say it's about time or nothing like that because, in my opinion, I don't understand. But we'll see where UT goes from here, and we'll see what it looks like in the offseason. Anyway, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, share to the team, share to your friends. I'm going to fucking them out.